moving my feet to the rainbow beat. What's up, Waymakers? It's me, Mommy SNUCK.
Yeah, that right there. What the dog doing?
As you probably know, you have entered Mom Zone USA, and my child has a lot of loud toys, so please excuse whatever noise may be coming from that general direction. Hey guys, so yesterday I had the fabulous opportunity of sneaking in to the iGENIUS compliance call. We love compliance calls here on the channel because basically what it means is that someone somewhere has told the company, like, hey, your distributors are doing things wrong, they're saying things they're not supposed to be saying, or even you as a company, you're doing things wrong, you're saying things you're not supposed to be saying. Somewhere along the line, someone told iGENIUS that they need to wise up and change stuff. So that's what we're gonna be watching today. I'm so excited to bring it to you guys because it's pretty juicy. But before we get into it, I just want to thank today's sponsor, a new sponsor of the channel. Please help me welcome Scentbird while my child makes noise in the background. Look it, I have a Scentbird package. I haven't opened it yet. I'm so excited. I'm excited to smell expensive. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service. It gives you the opportunity to shop from over 600 brands. Child, what are you doing? He has this thing where he just like finds an item, an object, and like throws it against other stuff to see what sound it makes. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, shop from over 600 brands. It's a flexible subscription so you can skip whatever month you want without any penalties. You can choose from new designer fragrances like Prada, Gucci, Versace. Ooh, I feel expensive just saying those brands. It's for both women and for men, and it's only 16 buckaroonies a month instead of paying hundreds of dollars on a bottle of luxury perfume. And you get to pick what you're getting, so there's no surprises. Let's open this. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, look at these. Look at how cute. Each scent has its own little individual baggie. I love this color. Did they know my favorite color is mint green? Because oh my god, look at how cute it is. Oh, okay, dang, it twists. And it's just got a little spray. Okay, hold on. I don't even know what scent this is. Hold on, how do I get this out? Okay. This is Good Habit Align. They sent me a little card about it. Bergamot. Okay, yeah, no wonder I love this. Bergamot is one of my favorite scents. I do have essential oils in my house. I use them for aromatherapy when I take baths and stuff, but I always put bergamot in my bath because oh my god. I love it. Black currant berries, freesia, rose pepper, and white amber. Dude, and maybe, you know, it's because I haven't tried expensive perfume much in my life. I'm like used to just getting those like body sprays you get in gift sets and stuff, but this, someone smells expensive today, it's me. Oh my god, this might be my new favorite scent. Good Habit Align, that's the first one they sent me. And I already sprayed it all over myself. Watch me like these other ones more. Oh, they come in different colors. Love that. This is Burberry Brit Sheer, Pony, Yuzu, Peach Blossom, Musk, ooh, and Pineapple. This one's good too. Oh my god. It's good, okay? It's good. What do you want me to say? This is a pretty color. I like this. This last one is Prada Candy. Okay. Can I just point out here, look at how big this sample size is. Like, this isn't the Junko you get from like a magazine, you know, when they just send you like the one little sample, or like, I don't know, even in-store sample sizes. Okay. This one smells like Las Vegas, like in a good way, and I'm kind of on like a Vegas withdrawal right now. I really want to go back. Prada Candy, caramel, musk, and benzoin. I don't even know what benzoin is, but it smells really good. I need to go to Vegas right now after smelling this. I need to get in my car and drive to Vegas. It's 4 hours away from me. I am not even kidding. Have you ever been to the MGM Grand? Prada Candy smells like the MGM Grand. And that is my sister's favorite smell in the whole wide world. I'm like, I'm about to buy her this perfume, like a full size of this for Christmas or something. Or I can just get her a Scentbird subscription for $16 a month and she can buy this every month. It smells so good. It's very different. I would say these two, the first two, Good Habit and the Burberry ones they sent, smell kind of similar. They're very like fruity, but this one is more sweet and like a Las Vegas casino in the best way possible. So yeah, each one of these is a 30-day supply. I mean, obviously luxury perfumes like this, you don't need to use a ton of it. It's like one spray and the whole house smells like it. My house smells great right now. And you know, I was honestly thinking about trying Scentbird, and then they reached out to me recently, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is perfect. It's just meant to be. I think Scentbird definitely has a new lifelong customer out of me. I want to smell like this all the time. And you can too, for a freaking discount, man. Like, and I mean even more of a discount than they're already giving you. 16 bucks for luxury perfume instead of hundreds. Dang, son. You can use my coupon code Savannah55 to get 55% off of your first month at Scentbird. That's just $7 for your first month of smelling like an expensive goddess, of smelling like a Las Vegas casino, of smelling like pineapple and peach blossom. Sorry, Pop-Tart. Like, I feel so good right now. I feel good about myself. Thank you, Scentbird, for sponsoring this video. Thank you for reaching out to me to be a new sponsor on this channel. I love you. Please keep coming back to me. I mean, I tell you what, I was excited about this sponsorship, but like, I didn't even know what I was in for. She's like, fuck off. All right, now we can get into the meat and potatoes of this video here. Are you ready, Pop-Tart? Okay, she is ready. So iGENIUS is an MLM I've never talked about on this channel, but I'm sure you've heard about them from other creators in the anti-MLM movement. Cece Suarez, Miss Beautiful Fabulous Chelsea, she's talked about iGENIUS and the whole WFAB thing. I'll get into it. I'll give you a brief overview of what's been going on and why they're so popular to talk about right now. But yeah, Chelsea and Mac has talked about it. Isabella has talked about it. I'm pretty sure Deanna's talked about it. Like, yeah, there's a whole lot going on. So, long story short, iGENIUS is an MLM for stocks, for the stock exchange. I think more specifically, like more crypto kind of stuff. This company, the product is trading tools, if that makes sense. So when you recruit somebody underneath you in iGENIUS, it means that you're convincing them to sign up for the monthly fee that it costs to sign up with them. And then for that monthly fee, which is literally like hundreds of dollars depending on what you buy into. But that monthly fee just gives you access to tools to trade with. And also, I think it's supposed to give you, like, you can trade alongside professionals. It's not like if you recruit somebody, you make money off of their gains and you lose when they lose. You know, it's the freaking stock market, dude. No, the MLM part is just recruiting people. Are you coming up here? You recruit people to sign up for these tools and they teach you how to trade, which, by the way, you can find a lot of stuff about the stock market, about trading crypto for free on the internet. Like, this whole service, all of this sounds so unnecessary to me. Sounds like a big old fat money grab trying to convince people that they need these services if they're going to be a crypto guru. You don't need this kind of stuff, but they'll sell it to you like you do. So the reason it's so big in the news now is that there was a team with Mon8, that's a name we've all heard, called WFAB. WFABB stands for Work From Anywhere Boss Builders. I know there's lots of stuff about them in the anti-MLM movement on the creators' channels that I've mentioned earlier. There's a lot you can learn about them, but they've been really big in Mon8 because they're just like super scammy. Well, they jumped ship to iGENIUS, and I will leave some links down below to some videos that you can watch for further explanation of all that. It is a dumpster fire. It is an absolute dumpster. One of the leaders in WFAB, Dramus, is kind of the main face here, and we see her name being spouted off a lot. So yeah, it's all just like super duper scammy. The president, by the way, his name is Chad. He's the ultimate Chad. You'll see in a minute. He has rebranded what is now iGENIUS like 3 times because of, from what I understand, kind of like issues with the SEC, and the guy's been in some dirt. And then so every time that happens, he just rebrands. It's really obnoxious. There's a lot more to this. So again, I will leave some links down below that you can watch a lot more information about what's been going on here with iGENIUS, WFAB. I've gotten a lot of requests from a lot of you guys to be like, are you gonna talk about this whole WFAB iGENIUS thing? At first I was like, no, because everyone else was covering it. And I'm like, I got my hands full with paparazzi and Black Oxygen Organics and stuff. I'm like, they can keep all that. But yesterday morning, somebody sent me, one of my fabulous patrons, sent me a link to the compliance call that we're going to watch today. And I thought, wow, I love compliance. compliance calls. Because they make me feel so justified in like all the stuff that we say all the time in the anti-MLM movement about like, you can't say that, hey, don't say that, and like no one ever wants to listen. And then like it feels really good to hear the CEOs and the presidents and stuff show up on these Zoom calls and be like, yeah, actually the anti-MLM movement was right, basically. But for the most part, they just sit around and call us haters and then say like, well, you can't do this now because of haters anyway. If you want to know my opinion on all of this, it's the people in WFAB who are trying to get people to jump ship from Monate to iGENIUS, or anybody who is trying to convince anyone to sign up for iGENIUS right now is like the scammiest scammer that ever scammed, okay? And here's why I say that. And now I'm not a financial professional, and the only experience I have in trading is GME, hold DRS, go to the moon, and then I bought some crypto. But that's about it. I'm not like a day trader or, you know, none of that. But you guys, come on. There is an inevitable crash coming. It is upon us. It could happen any day. It is a horrible idea to try to buy into any kind of investment right now. And I don't know if it's this way across the entire country, but I know at least in Arizona where I live, the housing market is out of this world in a bad way. Like it's definitely a seller's market. Houses in my neighborhood are going for more than double what I paid for my house 6 years ago. It is booming. The stock market's about to crash. Cryptocurrency is not in a good place to really invest safely right now. Not that okay, obviously I have to say investing is risky no matter what you do. My point is now is a horrible time to be investing. And the fact that these WFAB ladies decided to jump ship and now they're trying to get these other people to learn to be traders when the stock market and the crypto market and the housing market are so close to crashing, it is inevitable and it will happen sooner rather than later. I am a prophet. And I'm telling you that right now, Pop-Tart. Yeah, it's just not a good idea. Now is not the time to be investing because you're gonna be upside down once it crashes. Griffin knows. Griffin's a baby and he even knows you shouldn't be investing in stuff right now. But again, that's not financial advice. I'm just saying I wouldn't, and I certainly wouldn't recommend anyone else did. So that's how I feel about it. I think that this is absolutely awful. I think a lot of times when people hear crypto, it just sounds complicated. It's really not. It's all just a matter of this is gambling. Like, this is what this is. But they're preyed on being like, oh, I don't know anything about crypto, but I know that all these people made all this money on Bitcoin, which, by the way, that ship has sailed. It's gone. You're not going to make millions on Bitcoin anymore unless you have a lot to invest, which is also a bad idea. I think iGENIUS has found themselves in a place where they're probably making a lot of money off of people who don't know better. And I think that's really messed up. Messing with people's money like that. Like, it's one thing to mess with people's money in an MLM by trying to get them to invest in a $200 starter kit. It's another thing to have them invest monthly on a reoccurring basis and then also still have to invest in something. These people are throwing in a lot of money into this thing right now, and it is not an atmosphere built for success right now. But meanwhile, whoever jumped ship with WFAB, you know, Dramus is making a ton of money off of it. It's so sad. Anyway, that's honestly the TLDR. But again, there's more info for you down below. Dude, I still smell the scent bird. I smell so good right now. Okay, let's watch this compliance call together. We begin with a muted.
Again, welcome everybody to our Tuesday evening compliance training. You know, we went back and forth with if we were going to say compliance training or not, because, you know, sometimes that has a negative connotation, but it's very important to understand what you can and can't say about iGENIUS, how to share things, what to say. And that's one of the questions I get asked a lot. So make sure your teams are on. We'll get going here quickly. And yeah, let's give it like 2 more minutes and we'll start it off.
Yeah, it is pretty important to be compliant with the FTC and the SEC. This stuff in particular is probably even more sensitive than most MLMs. You'll see that the beginning of this, there's a lot of technical difficulties, and it's kind of funny because they flounder a lot here.
This is a very important topic, a very important training that we're going to go into. Before we actually start and do a deep dive into compliance, what we wanted to do first is kind of give some updates on, you know, what's happening in the business, but also some of the just things that you might have seen that have changed recently. You might have noticed, if you are newer, when you actually come in and you start the enrollment process, you actually go through, and one of the first things that you do is you have a little checkbox that you've read and reviewed the policies and procedures. Now, one might call those the marketing information, right? So you might talk about that as how to market the product as a customer. And it's very similar to what you might see at like a Robinhood or a Direct TV. You know, that's an example I like to use. You go through that process, you check that you've read and understand the policies, but more importantly, that you are going to share what you are using in a proper manner. And that's very important for us to understand that, you know, as the customers are coming in, it's okay that you share the product. You do not have to be a distributor in order to share the product to refer people, right? That's what we would consider a referring customer. So as you're coming in, you're actually agreeing to the policies, the procedures, how to share, how to market the products. And that's very important to me, because the last thing I want to happen is someone come in and misrepresent the product and what we have to offer at iGENIUS. Now, what you'll also notice is in the back office, you do have a button called Upgrade to Distributor, and we've made some adjustments to that process. As you probably noticed at the end of last year, end of 2021, the adjustments that we made were so that people go through a KYC process. Now, from the beginning of this year, we've made the adjustment that you have to hit certain requirements before you can upgrade to a distributor. And here is the reasoning behind that. One of the things that shows a dedication to becoming a distributor is, of course, utilizing the bonus plan and sharing the products properly. So once you have hit the $600 threshold, and that's an important threshold, then you will be prompted to go through our KYC process. And our KYC process is something pretty simple, but it is very important. You would either fill out a W-8 if you're international, a W-9 if you live in the United States, and then you would go through and upload a photo ID. And so that's just a normal KYC process that you do at many of these brokers and exchanges. But the $600 portion is important because that is actually the threshold in which the company is required to send out a 1099 or a tax form, because of course, as you earn commissions in the bonus plan, you are then required to pay the proper taxes once you've hit the threshold of $600. So that is when that threshold happens. Once you hit the $600, then you're prompted to finish and go through the KYC process. So that is the one thing that I wanted to bring up is, you know, when you're doing that, you're going to notice, and some of you are already distributors, but those of you that are not, you're actually going to notice that that same marketing agreement that you did the little checkbox for at the beginning when you enrolled as a customer, you're actually going to now go in and do a DocuSign that you have read and agree to those, because we find it is very important that you understand the policies and procedures and how to market our products properly. That's going to protect us, and that's also going to protect you as a distributor.
This is fascinating just because, well, first of all, I found an article from January 6th of this year. So InvestView, I'm pretty sure, so that's the parent company of iGENIUS, but apparently in 2021, November 2021, the CEO of InvestView, Joseph Camarada, was arrested along with 2 other individuals for brazen fraud, deceiving fund administrators to line their pockets with ill-gotten gains. They didn't disclose the passive income variables. iGENIUS was never registered with the SEC, and it just says they got subpoenaed for fraud. I don't know. I mean, listen, that's all language I don't really understand, but it sounds like they've just been going through so much shit in the past few months, and it's interesting to me that now to become a distributor with iGENIUS, you have to do an actual DocuSign. Like, they need to have your signature on a contract, seemingly so that it kind of frees them of all fault, you know? It's like, we told you signed a document that said you weren't gonna say all the shit that you said, so, you know, they can't be sued or their business can't be fucked over because of something a distributor said. But I mean, whatever. Yeah, when you sign up for, bless you, when you sign up for an MLM, yeah, you have to read your contract. Yeah, you have to sign a contract, or at least agree to terms and conditions, not usually go so far as to actually go through DocuSign. But I can tell you, with the way that at least the WFAB people, the way they're marketing this opportunity, if you will, really makes it sound like, oh no, you just sign up and then you have infinite gains. And it's like, that's not it at all. Obviously, it's the fucking crypto market, dude. But it's interesting. I mean, they're definitely going into cover your ass mode for sure. If I was them, I'd probably do the same thing. Although I would never be them because I would never run such a fraudulent fucking company or an MLM or both of them mixed together. Anyway, fascinating stuff here.
Let's get into some of the meat and potatoes. I know Chad has a couple announcements as well. So let's bring on our president of iGENIUS, Chad Garner.
Hey.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me okay?
What's up, Chad?
Perfect.
Okay, so two things. First of all, battling a cold. Seems like whenever we have a webinar, I get a little bit of a cold that'll scratch in the throat. So hopefully that we'll make it through it and I won't drive you all nuts. Let me just lay out how this is going to go so that everybody understands the flow of today's webinar.
To the backwards hat, though.
Here, I am going to hit the record button. I'm going to start sharing my screen and we're going to go into the compliance training. I'm going to ask you guys to hold your questions. And the reason being is we're going to have a whole section at the end where we're going to answer all those questions. And the problem is we're going to get questions, on slide 3 that we're going to answer on slide 9. And so I'm just going to ask you to hold your questions until the end, write them down. We definitely want to answer them, but we don't want to have a million questions coming in and then we're going to get there. So hold your questions. And if they're not answered, ask them at the end. We'll definitely give as much time as needed to answer all of the questions that we can about this. And then what we're going to do with today's webinar is we're going to obviously send it out like we always do. But we're also going to have the compliance training and the slide presentation that we're going to use today will live in the back office. So you'll always have access to it. We're actually going to create a little section over in the left navigation in the back office that says compliance. And it's going to have your ability to watch this recording again and again. Because it's going to be so good, right? Me and Christian are going to do such a good job. You're going to want to watch it over and over and over again. No, but the goal is so that everybody understands this information really well so that you can always go back and watch it. But also you'll have access to the presentation as well so that you can use this to train your teams, right? And this is going to be a really important part of our vision for 2022 is compliance. In fact, I was on a webinar yesterday with a bunch of our European leaders and they were like, talk to us about 2022. What's the vision? Where are we going? I'm like, well, guess what? One of the main areas of focus and an area we're going to pay a lot of attention to is compliance, is regulatory. We want to make sure that we button things up and get ourselves in a more secure position and a more safe position so that, we can protect your business, we can protect our business, and we can do this for the next, 20, 30 years.
It sounds to me like they're not doing this out of the kindness of their hearts just to protect everybody. I feel like they're probably doing this because they have no other choice. Sounds like they are in a little bit of trouble with some certain regulatory agencies, and now they're trying to cover their tracks and cover their asses.
And have a lot of fun doing so. I love talking about our products and our services and our business, but I know how important it is to talk about compliance and all the regulatory matters. So that's what today's the kind of the flow of today is. Before I jump into that, there is one really important thing that I did want to address. I've heard questions about it, and there's been as always, some misinformation put out there by the world of the internet and the YouTubers and whatever else. There was a subpoena that was sent to InvestView, and this is something that it happens, right? I want to make sure everybody understands that businesses and companies all over the world, and especially here in the United States, they get inquiries from the regulatory bodies, and so there was sent. We published it in our public filings. We're in the process of providing all the information to the SEC.
Sir, if I may, these kind of things don't really happen unless you're doing something sketchy. They're not going to look into you and send you subpoenas and shit and, I don't know, send your fucking CEO to prison. Yeah, that doesn't happen regularly. This isn't just like this happens every day to every company ever. No, No. Hey, Chad. If you were to flip his little backwards hat around, the front of it would just be like, liar. I mean, he's definitely sugarcoating it. I would consider this to just be straight up lying just because of how not serious he makes this sound, and I get it. He can't just get on here and be like, oh no, we're fucked, all of us are fucked. I think it's very clear that that situation is exactly why they're overhauling stuff right now. Not because they just feel like it, not because it's the right thing to do. See, that's the thing. If they were doing this because it was the right thing to do, it would have been done a long time ago. There would have been so much better compliance training set forth before any of this had happened. And this is the same shit we saw with Boo, right? And they got all mad at me and tried to sue me for saying that they clearly hadn't thought about compliance. But it's like, if you had a functioning compliance team to make sure that your business operations comply with regulatory bodies, then this shouldn't be an issue now. It should have really been on the top of your list of important things when you started the company. Okay, you can have a boob, sir. We'll continue. We'll listen to Chad, okay?
There was the subpoena was from the SEC. So there's a whole line of questioning. Based on the line of questioning, it seems like there is some interest from them on understanding the Apex model. Apex was one of the subsidiaries of InvestView, and is no longer, in operation, but there, seems to be, there's a lot of questions around that. And as always, there's some questions about the iGENIUS model. We're providing all of those answers, sending those back over to the SEC. In short, in quick fashion as the questions come across.
But he's like, as always, there's just questions about what we do. And it's like, why does it have to be that way? That doesn't strike me as normal. If you're doing stuff right, if you're doing stuff legally, then there's nothing to question, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting subpoenaed.
And guys, it happens. That the SEC has investigated iGENIUS in the past. And here we are, right? That they do, it happens from time to time, and even though the videos and the articles that are put out there are full of misinformation about what is actually going on, the reality is nobody knows exactly, what they may be looking for, whatever it may be. Bottom line is we're complying, we're sending all the information over, and, it's all good.
Because you have to, right? And again, it's like, why would you put yourself in this situation when all you have to do is just from the get-go, just make sure that everybody in your company knows this stuff, the stuff that you're about to share with us. Why is it so hard to just have that available to everybody? Why is it so hard to train? You want to talk about MLMs, people are always like, oh, the training we get is so amazing. And it's like, but none of them ever have a compliance training. And then when regulatory bodies reach out and start investigating them, they play like the victim, like, oh, poor us. All of our distributors are throwing us under the bus and saying all this stuff that they're not allowed to say. It's like, whose fault is that? You can't blame the distributors for your lack of training. Yeah, sure, you can say, oh, well, it's always been in the back office. It was in the terms and conditions. They could have read it. You need more than that. This is a pretty important thing. Hey, any MLM that's watching this, maybe, just maybe, you should make this a pretty important part of your business. Having some kind of compliance training so that from the get-go, your sales force, your distributors, the faces that are representing your company know what the fuck is right and wrong. It just seems like such a basic thing, and none of them do it. They put some documents in the back office for people to dig through to find and expect that to be enough, and then get all victim blamey and point fingers when the SEC gets called. Yeah, this is definitely your fault. You don't have to be continuously investigated by government agencies, dude. Just do shit right. It's not that hard.
It's, it happened once before, like 4 years ago. The SEC did a similar thing. They looked at some of our products, and we discontinued one of them based on their recommendation and went on our way. And so that type of stuff happens, guys, and it is what it is. I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's not something that is like fun. We're providing all these answers and stuff to
you
them,
are sugarcoating it, though.
Certainly not what is being said out there, in the videos and stuff like that. All right. So with that addressed and out of the way, we are ready to get started, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push record on this thing.
Chad,
yes, sir.
Before you press record, one thing I think is important. Someone actually just asked a question and I failed to cover it. In order to receive commission payouts under $600, you actually do not need to be a distributor. You are considered a referring customer at that point. So you will receive commission payouts and you'll be able to use those commissions towards your subscription. I apologize, I didn't cover that piece. After you reach the $600 threshold, we are unable to pay out further if the KYC process has not been completed. So I apologize for not covering that. Great question by whoever asked that. And so, yeah, I wanted to make sure I was clear on that piece.
Yeah, I'm glad you addressed that, because I actually was going to say something too, and I hope it's not overkill. But guys, Christian used that good example of like Robinhood, right? I mean, just because you are sharing your Robinhood link with people all over, all your friends and family and whoever you know, that doesn't mean that you are technically a Robinhood distributor per se. You're literally a customer.
You can see me clicking around here. Obviously we know now, but Chad royally fucked up the display here. But I thought there was something wrong with the way I had my Zoom displayed or something. So if you're wondering, but yeah, it gets worse. It gets way worse. It gets embarrassing.
That's referring people to Robinhood, right? Well, it's the same thing with iGENIUS. When you become a member, when you become a customer, you get access to that referral link, and you can share that referral link with all your friends and family and whoever else you want to. And they will, if they like what they're seeing, they may decide to become customers themselves, and you get a reward for doing that. And that reward is, it's called a referral bonus, or, a fast start bonus, whatever it may be. But it's no different than what happens with, many companies out there. And that's what, we have a program just like those guys do. We also have like a formal distributor, program as well, and bonus plan. But like Christian said, in order to become an actual distributor, there are some requirements that somebody has to meet. So yeah, good clarification. I'm glad you did that, because I felt like that was something that needed to be clarified. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to go in. Give me 1 second, because I want to make sure we're all ready to roll here. Got that pulled up.
I'm going to cut a lot of this part out too, just so you know.
Recording in progress.
All right, guys. So welcome to the iGENIUS compliance training. My name is Chad Garner, and excited to have you on today's training. We are going to cover a lot of information.
See, I'm all confused.
And it's information that is extremely important to iGENIUS. So this is, as those of you that are members of iGENIUS, customers of iGENIUS, or even those of you that are now distributors of iGENIUS, this information that we're going to talk about today is pertinent and is relevant and is crucial for everyone that is in any of those groups to understand and to be familiar with. This information will be available in the marketing center and in a variety of different places, and sent out to all of those that are in attendance today. So without further ado, let's get going. I'm going to go on to this next slide, and here we go. So first things first, if you go to the iGENIUSglobal.com. Go ahead.
We cannot see your screen.
Oh my gosh, of course. Backing up. All right. Jamie, you'll have to edit this. We only have a couple of participants, so it's all good. Okay.
We only have a couple of participants.
Mess up, guys. Here we go. Why didn't somebody raise their hand? Share screen. I'm an idiot. We're going to go back one. Okay, you see my screen?
Chad, can you just stop recording and then just start again?
Yeah, of course I can.
That would make my life a lot easier. Thank you so
Done.
much.
Okay, let me go to that.
Chad, can you throw this recording out because you fucked up?
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
How's it going, guys? My name is Chad Garner. Welcome to the iGENIUS compliance training. Excited to have you along. We are going to jump into some very important information. Whether you are one of our customers, one of our distributors, this information applies.
Where'd he go? Chad! There's my little mouse. Like, what's going on? What's happening? Did I get kicked out? Do they know? Do they know it's me? Where is everybody?
Bottom of the all policies and disclosures page, and you can click on that, and that will take you to the page with all of these different policies and procedures that will be available to you. And so that's important that everybody knows that. Again, the information that we're covering today is applicable to both members, and if you are just, it is crucial that you the client way according to these policies and procedures. All right. So first of all, what is iGENIUS?
This goes on for a few minutes, so yeah, just so you know, I'm cutting a lot of this out too. Like, no one tells him for like 5 minutes.
The SEC. So yes, as a publicly traded company, InvestView, they do report to the SEC, but iGENIUS is a publisher of financial news and information. And so we don't, we don't have registration with the SEC. We are not financial advisors. We provide information. So this is an exemption that was provided in the U.S. Securities Investment Advisors Act of 1940. We provide financial research and information to the public, but it's completely at the discretion of the individual as to whether they will use that information or not. Guys, the crucial part here is the difference between advice and information. We do not provide financial advice. If you have ever done that, you should not, because you are likely not licensed to do so.
Dre.
What we provide is information and education, and we deliver it in a uniform fashion, meaning we don't custom tailor our information to one person that is different than another person. It's all uniformly created and delivered to everyone at the same time, and therefore it is not construed as advice and never should be. And therefore, we don't have to be registered as financial advisors to provide education and information. So it's really important that you guys understand that as you're out there sharing the information. So we leverage the distribution model. A lot of you guys call it network marketing. Our products and services are distributed via an affiliate network of independent distributors and customers.
You're an MLM.
That are paid bonuses for the customers they refer to the services. So again, we talked about this example earlier of like DirecTV and DirecTV customers. They can share a link that they get provided to them to their friends and family for DirecTV, and then if somebody ends up signing up for DirecTV, they get a little bonus. Well, it's a similar program that we have for all of our members. We also have a bonus plan that our distributors are able to participate in, and there are a number of ways that they can get paid.
But see, that's a thing with TV service providers and stuff. I get it. But see, like, for example, my solar panels on my house, it was the same thing. They were like, hey, you can give your referral code to a friend and you'll get like $150 credit to your account or something like that. The thing is, like, if I were to give someone my solar panel referral code, I wouldn't then make money off of their bill every month that they pay, And I'm sure this affiliate network, the first thing that they're talking about there, the customer referral code, is probably the same way. But here's the thing, and this is how I was transcribing it when they were talking about it, but it sounds to me like you can't be a distributor unless you have $600 worth of, I guess, referrals. So at that point, it's like you send out your referral code, people sign up. It's almost like you have to recruit a team before you become a distributor. That's weird. Maybe those people don't end up on your team after you turn into a distributor, but maybe they do. I don't know. I'd have to look into it. But either way, it's literally like you have to recruit people first, and then you get to go be a distributor and make money off of people's monthly subscriptions. That's so weird, and also so sketchy, and also very pyramid schemey.
Our current bonus plan can be accessed in the marketing center of the iGENIUS back office. It's in multiple languages, and you can go see all of the different details and all of the different ways that a distributor can be paid. All right, let's talk about one of the most important parts of our policies and procedures. It's section 4.7.3, which is bonus plan claims. Guys, this is probably where we see the most opportunity for enlightenment and for understanding, where we have a lot of our distributors and members throughout the world that I don't think fully understand this part of it. So I'll
give this to Chad. He's very good at making this sound like it's not a big deal. I mean, it's a pretty huge deal. He's like, I don't want to sugarcoat anything, and then he proceeds to dump pounds and pounds and pounds of sugar on top of this thing. Like, enlightenment, sir? This is an area where we could see the most enlightenment. What you should have said is, hey, distributors, you're fucking up. The way he's saying it is very respectable. Maybe I'm only saying that after having heard Boo's compliance call. I forgot the guy's name who was doing that presentation, but he was basically yelling at everybody, and then he went on like a 20-minute rant about haters. So at the very least, what I can give this Chad guy is that he's pretty good at speaking to the members of his company, to the people who are listening to this webinar. He at least has a nice, kind tone about him. That doesn't make it any better. He's definitely sugarcoating it, not making it sound like it's a very serious thing when, yeah, it is. That's pretty freaking serious.
I'm going to read some of this. It's really important. But when presenting or discussing the company bonus plan opportunity, distributors must make it clear to prospects that financial success with the company requires commitment, effort, and sales skills. Guys, another way of saying this is it requires a lot of hard work, dedication, discipline. It is not something that is a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something that everybody will possibly have success with. In all reality, that is the anomaly, right? It's hard. A lot of people, they think they can do it, but they don't.
Uh-oh. Where'd Chad go? Also, can someone tell Chad to update his Google Chrome? Like, it's driving me nuts.
Hey, Chad, we're losing you again.
Dre, for example, she's very good at making it sound like, oh, all you have to do is put this money in. If you put this much in 3 months, you'll have this. Like, that's what I've seen come out of her butt, which obviously that's stuff you can't say. That's a pretty big misrepresentation. Oh, Chad, you're trying.
All right, let's see. I just kicked out Chad because his audio was terrible. So we're going to wait for him to hop back in, hopefully get a better connection. We're going to have the guys at the office log off the internet just to make sure that it's done properly. We're going to get going back with the, here we go. He's back in here. So we'll have him start back up at the bonus plan section. Chad, can you come off mute? See if it works.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there.
Nope, you're good. You've been a little bit choppy at times, but just start with the bonus plan portion again. And guys, just so you know, what we'll end up doing with this, just because of
awesome. So guys,
hold on, Chad. So the issue, obviously, with the recording, we will end up just doing a separate recording with some better internet to place in the back office so that everyone has a clean version.
That's right. You heard it here, folks. This is the place where you're going to be able to hear all the fuck ups, because once this is actually uploaded into the back office, they're redoing this whole thing because Chad fucked up so bad. So here's where you can hear all this fabulous fuck ups. Ow, Griffin just bit my boob. Sir, ow. He's got 6 teeth now too. It hurts really bad.
Just to make sure that everyone gets all of the information. No, it's not he's not going to PC instead of a Mac. Come on, Mike. But yeah, go ahead, Chad, take it away. We'll go from
yeah.
both.
So Christian, if it starts breaking up again, I'll have you just take the lead on presenting, and I'll chime in as I see. So I'm worried. I'm not sure why. Of course, the internet's been fine all day, and today we're breaking up. So you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I'm getting you good.
Okay, barge right in if you start losing me, and then we'll just kick it over to you to take over, and then I'll just add the color. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, guys. So when presenting or discussing the bonus plan, the main thing is to make sure people understand that it takes a lot of hard work. It takes commitment, effort, sales skills. You can't represent the bonus plan as something that's a get rich quick thing, or that it's easy. And if you do so, then it's going to lead to suspension or ultimately termination. This is a really important one. So I've mentioned this on previous calls, but the FTC, they sent out a letter to companies all over the country. Anybody that's in the financial space, thousands of companies got this letter, but we read through it really closely with our compliance team, with our legal teams. And this is an area of emphasis that they are really cracking down on, as if distributors of a company are misrepresenting, making it seem like, you can get rich quick off of something. They are cutting down. They're really clamping down on that type of stuff. So it's just something you guys need to be aware of, that it needs to be represented the right way. Let me actually go back into full screen. I don't know why that's
Oh, I'm starting to remember this now, actually. And I think what he's talking about, man, I don't even remember where to go about finding it, but it was sent to me a few months ago, where I guess it must have been the SEC. But the reason I saw it is because Boo was on that list of people who got this letter. It was not every single company ever. It was not every single MLM ever. I think some of the companies on there weren't even MLMs, probably affiliate programs or something. Either way, yeah, there were a lot of companies on that list, but they were on that list for a reason. They didn't just send it to everybody. So he's just like, oh yeah, there were thousands of people who were doing shit wrong, and we were part of the thousands. So, everyone else was doing it too, so it's totally fine. No, that's not a good mentality to have. That's just what it sounds like to me.
Cool. So let's talk about some examples of what we've seen out there that we should not see any more of, right? So first of all, we see things like the system will do the work for you, or you don't have to sell anything. All you have to do is buy your products each month. just, lock in your spot and the downline will grow. You don't have to build it. Just
that whole all you have to do is buy your products every month thing, that's a pretty big one, because that's what really separates iGENIUS from other MLMs, is that other MLMs, while yes, we all know most people do end up buying stuff in their MLM every month anyway, even though it's not like required of them. In iGENIUS, this is like a subscription thing, and it's like hundreds of dollars. I'm telling you, all you have to do is buy your products every month. I mean, that's obviously one part to being successful here, but that is part of iGENIUS. Like, you gotta be on the subscription. You have to be a customer. That's what makes this thing so weird, and also very pyramid scheming.
Join and I'll build the downline for you. Work with me and I'll teach you how to become a six-figure earner. Guys, these are the types of things, anything like this should not be said by a distributor of iGENIUS or a member of iGENIUS. There's a term here that we see a lot out there that we really absolutely cannot allow to happen anymore, is this concept of a six-figure earner. The problem with that concept is, number one, we aren't specifying in what time frame the six-figure earner is a six-figure earner, right? Is that six-figure earner this week, this month, this year, or this decade? So it's really it's a little bit misleading. It's certainly misleading when it comes to the public forum. And so, it's really important that you're not saying things like that, because that implies that somebody is, a six-figure earner without also stating in what time frame we're talking about. So again, back to this whole point of the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. It's a regulatory body in the United States, and they watch, companies like ours very closely to make sure that the products are not being misrepresented, or the opportunity associated with the products is not being misrepresented. So, this is something, I'm taking 5 people this month to develop into six-figure earners. It insinuates that, people are able to do this without a lot of effort and energy, and that people can make this six-figure income that, who knows what that actually implies.
It also insinuates that there's a limited amount of spaces of people who can join your team, and we know that's not true either. You just kind of skimmed over that part, Chad.
So something we just need to basically to get away from altogether. Again, if you are one of those people and you've been with iGENIUS for a year, and over the last 12 months, you technically generated more than $100,000 worth of income, then yeah, you could say that you were, a six-figure income over the past 12 months or something like that. Again, not in the public forum, but if you were to say that, to an individual, you would not be inaccurate. But as far as, social media and posting things about it, absolutely, that is not something we will allow.
So, I mean, he's literally saying, like, you can make income claims, just not in public. Is that a thing? I mean, maybe. I guess if I'm sitting on the couch with my friend watching Seinfeld, and I look to them and I say, I was a six-figure earner with iGENIUS this year, and it was true, it's like, I guess no one's gonna hear about that, except for the person I told it to. I don't know. That seems like a gray area to me. Sure, you can tell your friends how much money you're earning, but you can't post it on social media, which, I mean, I obviously understand the difference between the two of those things, but I still feel like it's just something you shouldn't go around telling people, especially if it's not true.
Any further going forward. So be aware of that. And while we're on that, there's other things that we see that we're going to address throughout today's presentation, but I want to hit on one of them, which is another one we talk about, like, I'm retired in my 20s, or I'm now financially free because of, the money I'm making with iGENIUS and stuff like that. Guys, absolutely cannot happen, should not happen. Really, it just demonstrates a lack of being smart when you say things like that, because you're certainly not retired when you're in your 20s. You have no idea what the future holds.
It's kind of big to hear like a president / CEO, whatever he is, of a company, of an MLM, saying this, being like, guys, can you quit with the fucking I'm retired at the age of 20 thing? Because we know it's just not true. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, we've been saying this shit for years. We're like, you're not retired. You didn't retire your husband. You're 25 years old. You can't say you're retired. And they just kept saying it and calling us haters. But then the moment their president, bro, says it, it's like, oh shit, I guess we need to buckle down and not say that anymore. You should have just listened to us. Seriously, listen to us. It'll save you a lot of trouble down the road. This goes for all of you MLMs. Like, damn. Don't wait for the SEC and the FTC to get up your butt. Just listen to the anti-mlm movement. We know what we're talking about.
And to say you're financially free, that's absolutely inaccurate as well. Financially, there's very few people on the planet that are technically and truly financially free. So we need to get away from terms like that altogether. So let's talk about some of the things that you can do, ways that you can present this information. So here's an example of a post that was made. This time last year, I was struggling and did not know how I was going to be able to pay my bills and make ends meet. I was introduced to iGENIUS, and I started learning about financial literacy and the financial markets. Initially, I thought it would be a good thing to do as a side gig, but it didn't take long for me to realize that this opportunity could change my life. I built a strong team, and many of us are now doing this full time. I have the flexibility to spend time on things that matter to me while successfully running my iGENIUS business. Send me a message if you'd like to learn more about iGENIUS. So guys, look, this is a post, and it doesn't mean this is your style, but there's no specific income claim made. There's no exact numbers that this person gave as far as how much money he's made or how.
But to suggest that you're doing this full time suggests that you're making at least a full-time income and supporting your family and paying your bills with this income. I mean, wouldn't you say that that's suggestive of that? Maybe that's not against FTC or SEC guidelines or whatever the fuck specifically, but to me, I'm like, it's still insinuating that you can quit your job and do this full time because, oh, I have the flexibility to spend my time on things that matter to me. I mean, that's a time freedom claim, you know what I mean? I feel like this is a gray area. It's probably not going to get you in trouble, but it's still kind of dishonest and misleading, isn't it? It's just a strange example to use because I feel like this isn't necessarily better than being like, I'm a six-figure earner. It's kind of along the same lines, isn't it?
How much money he will make. And therefore, this is a compliant post where he's talking about his excitement about the money he is making. He's implying that he certainly is making money with iGENIUS, but without implying that it was easy, without implying a specific number or giving a specific number. So it's a good.
Are they not allowed to say it's easy? All these MLMs is not a thing, that it's easy? Because they say that a lot, don't they? All you have to do is post about the product. It's so easy. And then they turn around and they're like, you have to work for it.
Example of how you can, position a post of yours. Christian, anything you add any of these so far? Sorry, I've been going fast because I'm frustrated that our things weren't running smooth, but anything you have to add?
This is Chad frustrated? He's holding it together pretty well. I mean, maybe that's just coming from me because I just rage all the fucking time. Chad's like, hey Christian, I need to take a break because I'm raging, but I don't want anyone to know about it. Do you wanna say anything while I take a couple deep breaths? And Christian's like, nah. Nah, man, you got it, Chad.
No, I mean, when you look about it, this is the one that sometimes comes back to bite us. We think like telling people that we are successful will help them join, which in some cases it does.
In every case,
However,
it does.
when they don't see the success that you have, even when they are seeing success, they sometimes get frustrated. They, end up struggling, even though they are doing well for the industry, for network marketing, for bringing individuals into the business. So that's, one of those situations where sometimes we do it in the right mind, but it ends up hurting us in the long run because, people don't actually see what, the work that you put in as a leader, as a distributor to make what you did in the bonus plan.
Yeah. And I think the big thing is, I talk about this whole idea of, this term financial freedom. It doesn't mean that you don't have more time to do things that you love doing. And that's what this post talks about. This person does have a little more time now to spend time and spend time with their family or do things that they love. But that certainly isn't implying that they're financially free and they can do whatever they want and money just comes in, right? Because that would be inaccurate. So yeah, I like this as a good example. Okay, let's go into income claims. Income claims, very similar to kind of bonus plan stuff, but income claims kind of covers both, when posts and information that is specific to, the bonus plan, but also is applicable to anything that is product related. So let's talk about income claims. Again, you guys can find this information in the policies and procedures. This is section 4-7-4. When presenting or discussing the iGENIUS opportunity or bonus plan to a prospect, you may not make income projections, income claims, or disclose your income. And that includes showing checks, copies of checks, bank statements, email notices, electronic records, income system messages, anything, right, that would show those numbers. And you are prohibited from making implied income claims using product performance or personal account details as outlined in section 4.7.2. So guys, this one really should be simple to understand. You cannot project what a product will do or what the bonus plan could do based on, past performance or based on, previous, 2 months or 2 years, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can't provide any sort of projections, for the compensation plan or for our products in any way, shape, or form. implied or other. So really, really important, guys. I hope that one doesn't need much more explaining than just
the bottom part said that you can't make implied income claims, which is what I was just saying before, is the slide that he showed of the compliant post by that James Taylor guy, implying that you're doing this full time. Isn't that implying that you're at least making a full-time income? They really need to just stop talking about all of this. Don't talk about what you're making, dude. Don't talk about how you are able to do this full time, because it implies that you were able to quit your previous job and now this is your job. You know, your income, that's your money. I don't know. It just seems really weird to me that that's okay, but like all this other stuff isn't.
So let me just kind of show you guys what we have seen in the past. We took some of these posts directly from, people that have posted things, maybe our company, other companies, whatever it may be, but I just hit $10,000 a month. Obviously we cannot, and we just read the one before.
Okay, look at this here though, obviously what we're looking at is insane. Like these are very, very obviously, like you cannot say this shit. You'll see here, there's a few little asterisks that are like $174.99 held for subscription, $175. And I'm confused because these are different commission payments, right? But it's literally like weekly? Look, February 26th to March 4th, here's your weekly commission of $9,000 minus $174.99 for your subscription. So is this a weekly thing? Is that what they're paying into iGENIUS? I mean, listen, if you're making $10,000 a month, $175 probably isn't a big deal to you. That's like way more than I thought it was. Damn.
We can't be specific about numbers or anything like that. So, so that one's definitely not okay. And this one actually goes as far as to even kind of, condescend anybody that maybe reading it by saying that they're not going to be as good as this person and won't be able to do it. So really bad marketing in general. But you can see here on the right side, that's a picture of the back office and somebody showing the amount of money that they were paid in their commission payment. Absolutely not okay. Hopefully that's very clear. Anything like this is going to end up in or result in disciplinary actions from the company. So you don't do it. It's obvious why on this one. Here's a couple other things. On this one, on the left side is an income claim where somebody's showing their Bitcoin deposit that was made by the company. Don't do it, can't do it. Here on the right, it says every Friday without fail, and then it's got a picture of their crypto exchange account and showing how much money that they were sent by the company. Here's one that is more product specific, and we're going to get into the products a little bit more. But over here on the left side, you can see this is an MT4 screenshot where somebody basically showed some winning trades and says something to the effect of getting paid residual checks plus Forex profits. Guys, you can't do it. This is not acceptable. This is not okay. So don't do it. Social media posts or bios with these types of words. So any sort of post or story with the words 6-figure earner, 7-figure earner, I created 10 6-figure earners, $1 million, creating millionaires. I'm retired in my 20s, this type of stuff, guys, that insinuates numbers that, number one, are not accurate and true. Number two, that are unrealistic, and set the expectation or set this idea that this is the norm. It absolutely cannot happen. So I hope this is really clear. These are some good examples. We're going to go into some things that you should do and that you can do when it comes to talking, making income claims. So this is one on the left here. I just earned my first check with iGENIUS by sharing their products with my friends and family. Of course, it took commitment and effort and time, but I love the iGENIUS products. I'm excited to share these awesome products with people I know. Okay. Look, again, may not be your style, but this post works. It's compliant. It's accurate because it demonstrates that it took a lot of time, effort, and energy. It demonstrates some excitement, enthusiasm for the products, but it is not specific. It's not giving actual numbers. It's not giving any details.
I guess I just don't like the idea of even referring to the fact that you're making money from this. At a certain point, there has to be a way to suggest that, because then no one else would sign up under you. But it's like, I just earned my first check. Well, your first check could have been less than what you're paying for your subscription, so it's misleading. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too far into this, but I feel like even that is got some misleading stuff to it. I mean, it's better than saying, I just made $6,000 this week and you can too. It's better than that. But to me, just suggesting I'm working with this company and they just gave me a check and I'm excited to share all this, like, it suggests that other people can do it too, and they can, and then that check might not amount to much anyway. I don't like it. I still feel like it's misleading.
And again, a lot of you are saying, well, I love to take pictures of my income that I'm making, because then it gets people asking me questions. Well, the bottom line is number one, that's not going to work, because that is going to get you in trouble. We talked about this earlier. You're not a licensed financial advisor. And anytime you're, showing projections, forecasting, showing these types of things, you are in this world, this kind of gray area of insinuating performance and returns and results, which you absolutely just cannot do. So it's just not something you can do. And the other thing I would say is most of the very best marketers in the world, they don't have to give all of the details. That they do what's called peak interest. And so they talk about their excitement and their satisfaction with their income that they're generating from the bonus plan, or the possible performance satisfaction that they're receiving. And then they engage in a conversation where they're able to provide all of the right disclaimers and all of the right expectations that can be set in a one-on-one setting, or in a setting that is more conducive to be able to provide the full story and all the details, and usually on a post or in a story.
Why is this okay to be like, this past month I generated enough money to cover my credit card bill? How is that still okay? I don't get it. I'm just like comparing myself to the situation in my job as a YouTuber. I am not going up to someone and being like, I just make videos on YouTube and this past month I paid my mortgage. Or like, I don't have to be like, I just picked up the sponsorship and they just paid me this much. And it's like, or they paid me enough to cover my card bill or something like that. Like, I don't do that. I don't have to do that, and it's tacky and it's weird for other people's jobs to require them to do this in order to make money, because yeah, they're gonna make money if they are recruiting more people. It is strange to me. In every job that I've ever had, I groomed dogs for 10 years for fart's sake. I never had to be like, hey man, I love my job as a dog groomer. The past 6 months have been so rewarding. I make enough tips to cover my lunch every day, and like, you know what I mean? I've never had to do that. I feel like none of this is necessary. Even these income claims that are fine by Chad still are sketchy to me, as they seem unnecessary. If your product is so good, Chad, if iGENIUS is so valuable, then you shouldn't have to brag about how much money you make with it. I mean, I get that it's about like crypto markets and Forex and all this shit. Like, it ultimately is about making money, but like, they're not talking about the actual tools. They're talking about the bonus plan, the distributorship with iGENIUS. It rubs me the wrong way so hard.
Yeah, so we've got some really questions and comments that have come in, and I think one of those is that we have a lot of people that again, we'll talk about this later in the presentation, but setting the proper expectations, because when it comes down to it, it's very similar to the bonus plan claims. The income claims are obviously the combination of the two, the product versus the bonus plan. But when people do not hit what you might have seen, even if they have already, even if they've already seen profits, they will still sometimes leave. And I give this example a lot, and I might sound like a broken record, but it's because it's very important. When you tell someone that you made X amount, the second that they don't see that they make that same amount that you did, even if they did the same things that you did, but maybe it was a year later, they might end up leaving. I've had people say, I'm leaving.
Them leaving is not the worst thing that could happen. That's definitely not worst case scenario. I mean, and obviously as the company, you want people to be giving you their money in subscription form, because that's the way that you make money, of course. But like, it's so wrong. I don't like it.
Even though they made 2,000, but the person that brought them in said that they made 4,000. So you can see how it can be detrimental. So just, very important to make sure you're very clear on, what it is that you're sharing, and share only the approved materials. And that's going to be a common theme that you're going to see Chad and I talk about going forward.
Yeah, so here on the right side, you can see one other kind of an example of a good post of accurate, compliant. I've been a distributor for 6 months now, consistently working, sharing the services. The past month, I generated enough money to cover my credit card bill. So once again, it's not being specific. It doesn't say I hit 10,000, 5,000. It just basically is implying that they earn enough to cover their credit card bill, and I hit a rank goal that I've been working on. So again, it talks about the actual specifics of the achievement, but without giving any sort of unrealistic or unsubstantiated claim.
To generate enough money in an MLM to pay your credit card bill is pretty unrealistic, let's be honest.
Obviously, results will vary for everyone, which is good. That's a great disclaimer, but I'm thrilled with my success so far. And then let me know if you're interested. Again, these are peak interest type of posts. that are compliant, that they're good to go. And something like this is good to go, but anything like we saw before where we're being specific, it cannot happen. It won't be tolerated.
I'm gonna take a break here. It won't be much of a break for you guys. I have to go get Sparrow from school, so the next time you see me, it'll be like an hour later. Okay, I'm back, and I also have a salad, so I hope you guys don't mind. I know some people are weird about not liking to watch people eat, but it's lunchtime, and I'm hungry. And there's still 46 minutes left of this presentation, so I'm gonna eat my lunch.
Let's go into product claims, okay? So we're moving right along. Let's go into the actual products. How can you talk about the iGENIUS products? So first of all, information, whether written, electronic, or published, that shows product service performance returns are strictly prohibited. Now, guys, this is a small change from the way this was written before. This part of our policy has been updated. Today, we are making this announcement, make sure everybody is clear on this. The information that may be shared regarding the performance of companies' products and services must be supplied by the company. In other words, we are the only ones that can now provide the information about the performance of the company's products.
Were they letting people provide that information before, like without any regard for whether or not that was right? They were just like, oh yeah, you guys can share whatever you want. Yeah, sure. They have to like specifically say now, oh no, you can't do that anymore, guys. Guys, stop doing that. You can't do it anymore. They shouldn't have been able to do it in the first place. That seems like common sense.
You are not able to. And again, not that we're trying to limit your ability to go out there and be a marketer and get people excited. The problem is there are far too many opportunities for error. There are a million different things that could go wrong. And as a result, this is the new directive. This is also, again, going back to the guidance that we have received from the Federal Trade Commission. And you will notice many of the other players in this space, other people that are providing financial education products and services, have gone to a very, well, to a similar approach, which is that no performance information can be provided. I promise you that you as good marketers will be able to still provide good content and get people interested in learning more about your opportunity without providing specifics in social media about product performance. So distributors may not post personal results, as these results may be mistaken for company results. That's the big problem there. And then the other thing too is individuals that are providing personal performance. Once again, they are now going to subject themselves to the laws that a financial advisor would need to adhere to. And they're going to need to provide all of the substantiation for any sort of projections and things like that. And if they're not licensed, they can't do it. And so it's not something that will be tolerated. In other words, you can't show your personal results online. Doing so will lead to suspension and ultimately termination. Guys, this is really important. It is crucial that everybody understands this. This is a big change in the way that we have, in the rules that we have basically operated up until this point. And so, want to make sure everybody understands this. This is to protect you as an individual so that you are not getting in trouble with the FTC or the SEC, as an unregistered, as an unregistered person providing financial advice online. You definitely don't want that. And obviously, we want to protect the company at all costs to make sure that everybody is secure and their businesses are safe as we move forward. So you can share how excited you are about your personal performance without specific details or images. Guys, it is possible. We just showed you a couple of examples, but don't share screenshots of your accounts. Don't show profits on your account, show images displaying your returns or guarantee any sort of specific return. Don't call it copy and paste or hands-free or anything like that. So we'll go into this with a little bit of specificity. So product claims, guys, right here on the left side of the screen, you can see the iGENIUS Global Instagram page. On that page, the company on a monthly basis will provide the performance that is related to the financial research products that we offer, the education research products that we offer, where you get trade ideas sent through Telegram, and you can then go out and execute those trades if you want to. That is the only performance that we will ever provide, and all we show is the amount of those ideas that were successful versus the ones that were not successful. We are not tracking because, of course, everybody will enter and use that information according to their own desire. And so there is no way to really show exactly how other people may have performed. There's differences between different brokerages and fills and everything else. So it's impossible to show anything more than this was a successful or a winning idea versus a losing idea. And we show that, and we show the good months and we show the bad months. We show it every single month. And you can direct somebody to the iGENIUS page if you want to show any sort of a track record. It's right there on the Instagram page, in the performance bubble and the highlight bubble on the top of that page.
Does anybody else feel like a company like this should not be an MLM, right? Like if there's so much room for error with people who don't know what they're talking about, and if the line is so thin between telling people about these products that can teach you how to invest and get more money, between that and being an actual financial advisor who's like licensed and is allowed to do that, the line seems to be so thin and people are crossing it all the time. Why the hell would you be like, let's make a multi-level marketing company out of that? It just seems like a recipe for disaster.
So that's as far as it goes as far as talking about product performance when it comes to iGENIUS's products. Now, obviously, we provide access to third-party companies, and those third-party companies may or may not provide their own type of performance calculations and things like that. It's absolutely okay for them to do that. It's not okay for you to do it. So the point is you cannot provide a screenshot of the performance that's being tracked on Endotech, for example, which is one of our third-party products, that shows anything there. The reason is once again, it's, there's too many details that can be omitted or can be misunderstood by a user who sees that screenshot. For example, the screenshot here on the right doesn't imply that there were, licensing fees and there were profit sharing fees and all sorts of different things that impacted that return. And also, that there's just far too many variables that go into it. So that is not something that you can do.
You know what this feels like? How we're always saying, like, we have to tell these people all the time, you are not a CEO, you are not a business owner, you are not a professional makeup artist, you are not a nutritionist, you are not a coach, you are not a health coach. These kind of things, it's all the same. It's all the same. These multi-level marketing companies put way too much faith. I hate to say it this way, but it gives people way too much confidence in their own abilities, or lack thereof. Just because you join iGENIUS does not mean that you can then go give people financial advice, and that's what these people are doing. Same way with Beachbody. You don't just join and become a Beachbody coach and now suddenly you can give people fitness and health and nutrition advice. It don't work like that. Just because you join Unique or Lime Life by Outcome does not make you a professional makeup artist, nor does it make you good at makeup just because you sell it. I mean, it's really all the way across the board. It's all the same. And some of these things are equally as dangerous, like being a health coach and giving people health and wellness advice. Here, it's financial advice. And all around the board, they're not allowed to be doing it ever, but they all still keep doing it. Go figure.
Again, let's talk about what you can do. I didn't know how to trade a month ago. Just placed my first trade. I'm feeling very proud. Let me know if you'd like to learn more about this. Perfect example of just giving enough information to get people excited. Hey, I didn't know you were a trader. Tell me about it. Well, I'm not. I'm just learning. And you can, explain the conversation or engage in a conversation. In the past few months, I have been consistently trading, and the education from iGENIUS has helped me gain the confidence I needed to delve into the financial markets. So just two examples of what you can do. Christian, anything anything up to this point, anything that you wanted to chime in?
Yeah. So one thing that, a lot of people are asking is, when it comes down to it, we're looking at everything going forward as please be compliant. But people are asking, hey, should I go back and remove stuff? And the answer is yes. And here's why. You're going to have people that are looking at your posts, whether they're now or from 5 years ago, doesn't matter, right? And they're gonna weave through it. They're gonna take a look at everything that you've written down. If it's not in compliance, they're going to consider that as that's just how you operate. That's how the business operates. And then there's going to be more inquiries. And let's be clear. One thing that we want to help protect you from is these inquiries are not always just at the InvestV or the iGENIUS level. These inquiries often have the names of distributors, and they must then have, a legal team. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I'm trying to give the reality of the picture, which is if things are not done compliantly, regulators will go for the company and the individuals who share the improper information about the product or the bonus plan. So that's why I'm saying, yes, please go back and just remove the stuff that you have that's old. And moving forward, please utilize what we've shared here today.
They did the same thing with Black Oxygen Organics, if you guys remember. They told everyone that they have to go back into their groups and change anything in any group that's ever been posted, either change it or delete it, that even mentioned Black Oxygen Organics. Here, they're obviously not doing that, but they're like, hey, I don't know how long iGENIUS has been open, but the other entities before that, I think would probably be included in this. But what are you supposed to do? Go read through every single Facebook post you've ever made made over the past however many years, that for some people in a lot of these huns, because they post all the time, it could take like forever. It's kind of a lot to ask of people. Seems like a really simple thing to avoid by just doing it right in the first place.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Christian. In a lot of cases, a lot of people maybe have posted some of these things, posted screenshots of their performance, but they did so absolutely without any sort of malicious intent or bad intent, and that's totally fine. You now, on today's date, you've learned about it, you have made adjustments, you've modified what you have out there and what you're putting out there to the public. And that is very defensible. Well, it's a 100% defensible position that you're in now, where you can say, look, I now I know, and as we move forward. That being said, it's really important that everybody understands that these policies and procedures that you guys have agreed to, that every member has agreed to, they have lived for a long time, and in a lot of cases, people were still kind of outside of the of what was compliant even before today's webinar. So we're doing an even further job of making sure that this has been communicated well and everybody understands this.
You could have been doing it the whole time, right? They keep like throwing in a reminder to the people listening, like, you signed on these procedures, these have been around since you signed your contract. And it's like, dude, but you didn't follow up with it. You know what I mean? Not that they're required to. It's like, if you sign a contract, you sign a contract and you have to adhere to those terms. But I mean, what do you expect, dude? You've got a network of distributors who are trying to make money off of your product. Of course, they're going to stray off of the path unless you make it a very strong point in your training and continued education that these are things that they cannot do. That lies on the company. Yeah, there's responsibility on both sides, but really, if iGENIUS wanted to avoid all of this, they should have been the ones to take initiative.
But again, it comes down to it's your responsibility to make sure that you're in compliance and your teams are in compliance and we're doing things the right way. So here's another good example of what could be said. I've learned so much with iGENIUS. iGENIUS has a university platform that allows you to learn about all the major financial markets via recorded educational videos. They also have live sessions with market experts to help answer your questions. If you want to learn more, let me know. Again, you guys, you're seeing from these posts, these good examples, there aren't screenshots. There's not pictures of your account. And it's just much more, it's erring on the side of caution. We want to err on the side of caution. I'm going to take this quick little tangent. A lot of you guys have seen, there's been quite a few videos that have been made over the past, call it 6 months, from people that maybe are, that they don't like what we do, right? Whether they have a reason to not like it or not, doesn't matter. They don't like what we do. And one of the biggest complaints they make is that they say that the people that are representing the iGENIUS opportunity are representing it as though it's a magic bullet, like it's the end all be all. It's, once somebody is a member, then all their problems go away and they are rich. And that's really, it's at the heart of most of these videos where people are saying, where they have the real issue with what, distributors and marketers of iGENIUS are putting out there into, in social media. The biggest complaint, most of these people that have taken issue with it, is that there is not, there isn't messaging, that the messaging isn't consistent with what, in a lot of cases, the corporate webinars and the corporate materials are saying, which is, this is a marathon. This takes a lot of hard work, time, discipline. This is one more way to further diversify your investment strategies and your investment portfolios. You can use the iGENIUS education to do so. What they complain and say is look, it's what's being implied is you get onto this platform, connect to a couple of products and, let, the magic happen and nobody's losing and everybody's winning and it's so easy. And so guys, we want to make sure that everybody understands if that's what the general consensus is about the people that are, looking at it unfavorably.
So are you saying that we're right? Are you saying that our criticism is justified? Sounds like we're not just a bunch of haters. Sounds like we have very good reason to be critical of what you're doing. And while he's not just sitting up here being like, they're right, these people are right. If we weren't right, you wouldn't be talking about it this way right now. So call us haters all you want, okay? But we're haters for a reason. We want you to stop scamming people. That's all it is. And it's a scam if you're gonna sit there and say all all the things that he just said about it being like the end all be all, the golden ticket, sign up and your dreams will come true, basically, because that's how the representatives market it. That's how Dre markets it. So what do you expect? Expect us to just sit back and not say anything about those people? Like, of course. It'll be really interesting to see where this all goes from here, because, I mean, if you ever see another iGENIUS person making any sort of claims like this or showing any kind of screenshot like this, you can refer back to this video and know that it is 100% against compliance, dude. So let's all make a joint effort to just keep our eyes out for stuff like this. I mean, we already know that you can't post stuff like this, but these people don't. And now that this is all out in the open, let's see how long it takes for them to stray off the path again, because it'll probably happen.
Then let's make sure that we don't give them any more ammunition. Let's make sure that when we market this, let's do it in a way that's compliant, that's accurate, that sets the right expectations, that lets people know, look, it's a marathon and I'm in the fight, and I'm really happy with the information I'm getting from iGENIUS. I'm learning how to one day possibly, you know, achieve some type of financial freedom that I can really be happy about, but it's definitely not happening overnight. And
didn't they just say that you can't say anything about financial freedom? Was that Chad who said that? And now he's saying like, yeah, you can say that maybe one day you want financial freedom. It's like, excuse me, what is it? Because even the messaging in this fucking compliance webinar is not consistent.
it's definitely not happening in, you know, a couple of years or certainly a couple of months. And that's the problem. That's really at the heart of what we're saying here, guys, is when you show screenshots that you know, show massive returns and you don't the next day show, you know, the massive losses, then you're basically, you know, you're implying and you're telling a story that's inaccurate, implying that, you know, everybody can have success without a lot of hard work. So here on the left, I just followed an awesome cryptocurrency trade alert through the iGENIUS platform with the education, live sessions, and trade ideas. I feel great diving into the cryptocurrency market. Thanks, iGENIUS, for giving me the confidence I needed to get started. Trade results will vary, and you should never risk more than you're comfortable losing. So again, it's even talking about, you know, success with a specific alert, but it doesn't provide all of those details that in most cases will, you know, get you into some trouble. Here on the right, once again, very similar screenshot that we saw before. Specific dates from the Endotech platform without any sort of, you know, disclaimer or anything else like that. It doesn't work. So don't do it. Okay, a couple more. Here's one. Closed the position, 30,000 in profit for the day, waited for retracement and bought back in. I mean, there's no background, there's no information being provided here on what really is going on. All it is one of, you know, a distributor that is, you know, a part of iGENIUS that has now.
Oh my God, my camera was not recording that whole time. Anyway, I know that Bitcoin was 53,000 like maybe a couple of months ago, but it's like way less now. So I'm gonna look it up and see. Right now it's at 41,000, so it's on a steady decline right now for sure. It was like November when it was over 60,000. Damn, this person's probably pissed because right now, if they still have this balance in their account, it's definitely under 50,000 now, so they're losing thousands of dollars. See, I think that's what they're talking about too. And he makes a good point, honestly. You can post something like this in one day, but like looking at this number a few months later, it's like, yup, Bitcoin's down again. Whoop-de-doo, what do you know? And that's just the nature of the business, you know?
Misrepresented and provided information that is just completely, you know, makes the person watching it think, oh, wow, they're up, you know, they've made 30,000 plus more. And it's very much so not okay. Again, you got specific numbers here. Doesn't show anything about losing trades, about fees, about, you know, anything else. So absolutely not. Yeah, this is an NDAO one, guys. This is a really important one. When your $1,000 investment in NDAO turns into 2,300 instantly.
By the way, I could be wrong about this, so don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure NDAO is like a shit coin. So like essentially a pump and dump cryptocurrency, I guess. And I think iGENIUS kind of makes you buy into this. So it's pretty wild to see them be like, look, I invested in this very specific crypto or whatever the fuck it is, and it more than doubled instantly. That doesn't happen. But to anyone who doesn't know better, this looks pretty promising, but it's misleading.
That's not accurate. That's definitely not something that we should be saying. And even if it was accurate, once again, that's not the norm. That maybe happened one time. And so, you know, if that's our post and that's what's living on our page and all the other stuff, you know, it doesn't apply all the rest of it. So again, these are things that we can't do. Good example of that. Again, more things here, just Endotech, a lot of things that have to do with Endotech where we're showing part of the story, but not all the story. You know, automation, I use Endotech for 10 months and my portfolio is up 1,000%. Well, that's not accurate because it doesn't probably have all the profit sharing, everything else there. But in addition to it, again, it's insinuating greater returns and things that in most cases are not accurate. Okay, so let's move on. This account is like speeding on the highway, almost up 2,000, less than 40 days, completely hands-free. Guys, hands-free, automation, crypto, iGENIUS, Endotech, Ethereum. This is absolutely a post that is not okay. Doesn't have any of the disclaimers that it needs to have. And again, it's a screenshot of product performance, copy and paste system. Again, we've talked about that is not what we want to imply. It's, it's financial education, it's trade ideas. So, okay, we've made a bunch of, $80 in 5 minutes. Don't want to say it. I hope these are really clear. 2,000 pips in a month. What does it mean? Again, that's showing performance of a product that will not be tolerated and would lead to disciplinary action with the company. Again, product claim before we sleep. I check another investment. Again, can't be done. Again, guys, lots of these came from people in the network. So we're showing everybody not to belabor the point, but it's obvious that we've got to, we got to clear that up. Okay, Christian, anything to add before we go into the next section? We're almost done here.
Yeah, so I do want to add this because I think people get a comfort level with their team, right? So I create a chat with Chad and Jamie and Kevin, and I share all my favorite stuff, and I'm so excited about it. And I might use anything from improper product claims to income claims to bonus plan claims to maybe I'm even saying inappropriate things in those chats. Well, guess what, guys? Those all get screenshot when one of us doesn't feel good. Maybe
I think that's referring to, and I'm not up to date with all this, but I'll get to it later because there's some other anti-MLMers who were in here, and they'll get to like the Q&A stuff at the end and answer the questions of the audience. And there were people who are very clearly anti-MLM in the question and answer. So apparently Dramus said the N-word somewhere. So I'm wondering if this is what he's talking about. Like, you get really comfortable with your team, so comfortable that you just drop the N-word. Like, what the hell? Oh wait, no, it wasn't Dre. It was some guy. But then Dre is the one, she like compared something regarding the business to the Holocaust. I mean, this kind of stuff is definitely what they're referring to. They're like, I know you're really excited and you're with your friends and but someone is going to screenshot it and send it to the wrong people. It's like, I'm sorry, why do we have to still be telling people not to say the N-word? Why do we still have to be telling people to stop comparing shit to the Holocaust? Why is this still a topic of conversation? This isn't just like, hey, you're in this MLM so you can't say that stuff now. You should never say this stuff ever. Just ever. In any situation you find yourself in, you should never be dropping the N-bomb. You should never be comparing anything to the absolute tragedy that was the Holocaust. Tragedy is putting it lightly. The genocide. There we go. Seriously. Why do we have to keep explaining this to people? Just stop. But anyway, that's what they're talking about. God.
Chad gets frustrated, leaves the group, but guess what? He has screenshots of everything that I said, Jamie said, Kevin said. That is one of the most disheartening things to see out there is the chats that you guys are having amongst yourselves and how it affects other people. So I want to be very clear that this goes for with people in the company and outside of the company. Okay. It's not just, oh, we're in a happy little family, because when the disgruntled uncle leaves, now they've got all the information on it. We don't ever want that coming back.
Now they've got dirt on you and they're gonna use that dirt to make the company look bad. Yup. Yeah. How about just don't do or say things ever that could potentially come back and bite you in the ass?
To hurt us. Everything that we do should be in line, whether it's with our teams or public facing. Okay. I just want to be clear on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Christian, you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay, great. We'll wrap this up. We're here at the very end. Appreciate everybody hanging in there with us, and then we'll open up to questions. And I know you've been answering a lot of them, but the use of the company logo is strictly prohibited. This is one more small modification. This section had all kinds of different guidelines on how you could use it. You had to use the logo that had the independent distributor below it. And, there was adherence to it and the non-adherence to it. So, bottom line is the use of the company logo is strictly prohibited. Customers and distributors are not authorized to display the company logo on social media posts, images, videos, posters, banners, or any other form, both printed and digital. The only exception to this policy is if a customer or distributor shares content that was created and posted by the company. Guys, we looked at and evaluated a lot of the different compliance policies and procedures for a lot of the big players, right? We didn't look at the small guys. We looked at the big players that have been around for a long time. And there's a lot of them that they don't even allow their distributors to use their name in any reference whatsoever. And we certainly didn't want to do that. We didn't want to limit our distributors' ability to use the word iGENIUS. but we do have to do the logo. We have to remove the logo because, you know, it's far too hard to police the actual correct usage of it. Once again, it's, you know, it can be construed as the company created that marketing material or that content and not the individual without putting the, you know, independent distributor, you know, words below the logo itself. We didn't see enough people using that. And so this is a change we've had to make. Again, I still think it's very favorable to our distributors. They can use the word iGENIUS. We've just given a whole bunch of examples of how they can use the word iGENIUS, but the logo is no longer allowed to be used in your social media posts or videos and things like that, unless you have gotten clearance from compliance. And so that is one thing I want to talk about here. You know, these are the rules that are being set for the teams. If you have something that falls outside of this and you say, well, I'm going to create a video, it's for my team, or I think that it could be great, I want to use then great. All you have to do is get approval. We just need to see the video. We need to see, you know, the wireframes, the concepts beforehand, and you know, we will happily approve anything that falls online and is compliant. The goal here isn't to remove the iGENIUS logo from the world. The goal is to remove the iGENIUS logo from things that could be construed or that could be, you know, seen as non-compliant or misrepresentative. And so if you ever have any questions, any concerns, any ideas, then you want to run those by the compliance team. You just send an email to compliance@igeniusglobal.com. and you will be able to ask those questions or get approvals for anything that falls outside of this.
That whole thing is really interesting to me because I don't think I've ever really heard that. Like, I know in Herbalife cafes, you're not allowed to use the Herbalife name or logo. But see, like, that's in certain situations with the Herbalife thing. Like, that's like if you open your own Herbalife cafe. So it's interesting to me that distributors with iGENIUS have been so bad about using their logo inappropriately and against their terms and conditions that they're just like, you know what? No using it at all anymore. No more. It is not a right, it's a privilege to use our logo. It's pretty much what I'm hearing.
We have a version of this that is now in the distributor or the presentation that you guys have in the back office. The main thing here is, you know, we want people to understand, and this is so important when you're bringing somebody onto the platform, is to set the right expectations. You know, people shouldn't feel like they have to use all the products all at once. They may want to pick, you know, one financial market and focus on that. And they shouldn't be ever trading or investing if they aren't in a position to do so. If they're still, you know, falling further and further behind in their finances, then they shouldn't be investing. You know, they should take the time to, you know, watch the Money Pro videos and start to learn to get themselves out of a situation. You know, just really important to paper trade and to demo trade before you actually go in there. And the biggest thing is when you're bringing somebody onto the platform or we're talking about our products, to never provide financial advice. Guys, I can't tell you how important that is to protect yourself. But, you know, in addition to not providing financial advice, you should, you know, encourage them to never invest or trade or fund an account with more than you're comfortable losing, because that is the world of you know, being involved in the markets. There is risk. And so people need to know that going into it. Always use proper risk management. If somebody doesn't know what that means, there's a million different books and articles and videos on it. And we have a whole bunch of them in our back office that they can watch in our university. You know, investing takes years. It takes a lot of time. And then this last one I hit on, but I'm going to hit on it again. The iGENIUS education and research products and strategies, they don't replace traditional investing methods like 401ks and IRAs and mutual funds. People should never be discouraged from using those traditional methods that they have. If they're using those, that's great. iGENIUS should be seen as one more way to further diversify one's investment portfolio. And so it's just really important that is part of our conversation, that we're not trying to bash or, you know, minimize some of these other investment strategies that are viewed as much more, you know, universal. And then a big thing is, you know, you as distributors, when you're bringing people in, or you as members that are bringing people onto the platform, you need to inform them of the refund policy. You need to inform them about the onboarding boot camps, and, you know, be that person that allows them to have a really good experience. You know, understand and know this information. If you don't know it, then get with your upline, get with us. If you don't know what the refund policy is, or if you don't know about the onboarding boot camps and stuff like that, then get with, you know, your upline, send an email in to support, and we will direct you to all of these different links. That's a couple important things, guys. Just to wrap up, iGENIUS is a global company. We have a presence in now over 129 countries. Our products have been making a difference in the lives of people throughout the world. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So guys, we want to maintain that. We want to maintain that squeaky clean A+ rating. If you know, whenever you can, there's Google reviews, there's BBB reviews, there's all sorts of places where we would absolutely encourage you to help us maintain that strong public image that we do have. Obviously, it's a constant battle because, you know, like any other company, we have our lovers and we have our haters, right? So the more you guys can do to build up the positive feedback and the positive perception of our company out there, that will be huge. The whole goal of this, guys, is to help protect you and your business. That is the goal here. In a lot of cases, people don't realize that by, you know, doing some of these things in a non-compliant way, you're not just putting, you know, the company at risk. In a lot of cases, the company is going to be okay, but you are the one that could be liable for.
Dude, let's be honest here. They would not be doing this if one of their distributors was getting in trouble with the SEC or the FTC. This is because they keep getting in trouble. This is not to protect you. Are you waving? Hi. No, this is to protect their butts and cover their asses. Also, the other thing I just pulled up too on my phone, their customer reviews on the Better Business Bureau. While yes, there's an A+ rating there, customer reviews only leave it less than 3 stars out of 5. And like I was saying in the last video, if you watched it, guys, with the Better Business Bureau, you can maintain an A+ rating if you're a business by simply responding to complaints. If you get a complaint through the Better Business Bureau and you respond to that complaint through the Better Business Bureau, then it really doesn't get counted against you. The businesses that have F ratings, you'll go on there and you'll see like there's 87 complaints that have gone unanswered. And with the Better Business Bureau and with iGENIUS, all of the complaints have been answered and they still have an A+ rating. That don't mean shit because the customer reviews don't give them an A+ rating, you know what I mean? So, but you know, an A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau sounds good, but really it's up to the company to maintain that. Baby's getting pussy. Let's finish this up.
There's a reason that we have, you know, this webinar. There's a reason that we put the training together. It's because we're growing, and the more we grow, there's going to be more people sharing, and the more people that share, there are those opportunities that people will slip up.
Yeah, you're growing because WFAB found their way into your business and probably brought thousands of new people over. Thousands of people who were fucking over Monet in their compliance. So now they're over up your guys' butts and fucking up your shit with compliance.
We want to be able to help correct those. We want to be able to help coach the individuals that are doing it improperly. And if it comes down to it, we want to be able to eliminate the people that are going to harm the business. So, you know, those are things that you can submit to compliance@igeniusglobal.com, and, you know, the team will take a look at it. But
so there was one here that this was just a comment made by somebody in the question answer, but I'm glad they did it. So I appreciate you saying it. Basically said, hey, this is great. This simplifies everything because it makes our life easier. Because, you know, if you're trying to market this business and it's getting complicated because you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what disclaimers do I need to have if I post a picture of my account and this, that, well, you don't do it. You don't post a picture of your account and it's not complicated anymore. You know, you basically can err on the side of, listen, you can tell people that you're excited with your success, you're excited about what's happening, and you can, you know, invite them to ask you why and how, and then you can take pictures of, you know, your dog or your children or whatever else, and be excited about life. This really should simplify things. This should help people. And so I'm really appreciative of that comment, because I do think that's exactly what it does. It simplifies things a lot for people. I saw this one too, and this is one. It says, you know, I'm really worried I don't want to mess up. And, you know, I won't say the person's name, but look, don't worry, and you won't mess up, because you're going to have this presentation we're going to send out. You can review it 100 times if you want.
Listen, as long as you're not telling anyone that you're making any sort of money at all, then you won't mess up. You'll be fine, Judy. Just don't fucking go around telling people you're gonna be a 6-figure earner. Don't go around telling people that you made $30,000 last month, even though, you know, maybe you made it in one day and then the next day you were down $20,000 because the market went because you just like selectively share, right? Don't do that shit. Just don't share at all. It's really not that hard. This just makes it so much simpler. Thank you so much for this presentation. It's just so much simpler now. I mean, it's really obvious. Like, I don't, how much simpler can it get? Don't be misleading. If you find yourself wanting to post a screenshot one day and then the next day you wouldn't want anyone seeing your financials because it's down from what it was, then maybe you just shouldn't be posting at all. Howdy doody. It goes to show, like, you're being selective about the days and the times that you're posting screenshots from your back office. To me, I'm just like, this seems really obvious.
One of the biggest things is a lot of people are still jumping back to, you know, the AI and endotech. right? You know, one of the biggest things that we see is people doing the, well, if you would have came in 2016 with $10,000, this is what your account would be at. That's one of the biggest issues that we see, is when people start doing that, because one, we were not using Endotech or AI at that time. Neither were you, likely. And showing what could have happened over that time period is irrelevant to what is happening now or in the future. And so just showing that they have a calculator, showing their website, letting the person go do their own due diligence. That's one thing that you're going to hear me say a lot of. Do your own due diligence.
If you do your own due diligence, you won't end up in this company. If you do your own due diligence, you'll find all of the same shit for free online, or at least, you know, not having to spend hundreds of dollars a month for any of this stuff.
Again, this is not us trying to come after each individual for doing something wrong. Don't be afraid. Just make sure that you're saying, hey, is this the right way to do it, and do it properly, and you're going to be fine.
Okay, I got a couple more. I'm gonna. There's some really great questions. You know, this says, look, this is really great. I wish I would have known all this before I got started because I was taught to market this differently. Okay, that's okay. So first of all,
I mean, it's really not okay. It's up to you guys as a company to train your people, to keep them compliant. I wish I had known all this. Most of this was probably in the contract you signed when you signed up, right? So you should have known this, but instead you let your upline manipulate you or whatever they did to make you learn to market it differently. But I mean, whatever. iGENIUS up until this point hasn't really been any better anyway, so.
You know, if you were taught to market this differently, then that's okay, because today is a brand new day, tomorrow's a brand new day, and we can start to market differently. If there are any of the posts that you have up on your account currently that look like they fall outside of this or could potentially put you in trouble, then go take those down. That's the first action item, is go get rid of those. That's good for you. That's good for everyone. And then, yeah, this is going forward. This might be a little bit of you know, learning how to ride the bike again. But what I'm telling you here is, it should be much easier. You don't have to have, you know, rows and rows and layers of disclaimer language and all sorts of different things to be able to make a post about your excitement for the products. You know, so again, if you have any questions, send those to about a post. Maybe we'll coach you on your next couple if it's not clear enough to you, and send us a question. Another question is about an income disclosure statement. So that is something that we are working on. I know that a lot of, you know, larger network marketing companies, they have that, which shows, you know, a breakdown of all of the different, you know, people at different levels. Yes, we're working on that. And so stay tuned on that. That is something that is coming. So that's a good question. I don't know what that is talking about.
The income disclosure statement comment was made by an anti-mlmer, by the way. Also, just so you know, there's some parts here that I'm going to be cutting out too, because it goes into like endotech and whatever, and I don't think any of that's relevant to the video here that we're making. So yeah, there is some stuff cut out here, but trust me, I'm leaving all the relevant stuff in. Oh, here we go. I just pulled up the questions.
Right now, they are cases that we have open. There is disciplinary action.
Here we go. Someone told me who this Tammy person was. I forgot. Oh, Laura B. She's another person in the community, in the anti-MLM world. I know she does some YouTube videos and stuff, as well as TikToks and all that. So apparently she's Tammy. I saw this and I went on my Instagram stories and I was like, all right, which one of you guys is Tammy? So it says, what is your policy on when someone compares the Holocaust to success in iGENIUS? I was very offended by that and Dramus's actions. And as you can see, Tammy's also the one who asked about the income disclosure statement. It also says this question has been answered live. It obviously was not. So I guess Dramus was in an abundance mindset call and compared the struggles of a Holocaust survivor to MLM struggles. And then she made a TikTok where she's just like crying and it says, when people don't like something I do, and she says, that's too damn bad. Like, imagine just being so unhinged that you're like totally okay with saying something like that, and then getting on TikTok and being like, I don't care, ha ha ha, I'm so edgy, look at me, I make Holocaust jokes, la 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 la. Like, ma'am, that's not okay. And I really fucking hope that someone takes Dre down a few pegs, because that is way too far. That's way too far.
That we are working on. There's many things that are going on behind the scenes, obviously, that we do not share with the public, but that are happening based on different compliance violations. And so, you know, if you have those, please submit those, because a lot of times we don't always have the full story. We want to be able to have all the information we have or we can before, we go and we talk to the distributors and customers. So please submit those to us. Again, our stance on anything violating the policies and procedures that you guys have signed and agreed to is that there isn't room for error, whether it's discipline or anything that we go into on this call is what we are going to be following. So again, please submit those. I know there's been a lot of things that have been said and thrown around, and we want all the information that we can as we go into this, because it is something that we are going to be taking care of on our end.
Yeah, we'll see.
Here's a question. How can we promote the copy and paste or artificial intelligence without calling it robots and copy and paste? So this is really good. So first of all, there's a million ways to talk about copy and paste without using the words copy and paste. First of all, you can say, iGENIUS provides me access to financial education, trade ideas, and then the user is able to, use that information if they want to or not. That's describing copy and paste. I receive trade ideas, and if I want to place those trades, I'm able to. There's a million ways you can say copy and paste. If you've already posted a video and you're not sure how to take it down, you should Google and find out how to take the video down. Like if you made a YouTube video, and you don't know how to take YouTube videos down, then you should do some Googling on how to do that. That's definitely something you should be careful with, because if it's out there, and you want to get rid of it.
How do you not know how to delete a video that you uploaded? Like, I'd say that uploading things are more difficult than deleting something you've already uploaded, but whatever.
Yes, and just to clarify, we cannot post profits, even if it's our own personal account, and say past performance doesn't guarantee future results. You're right. You cannot, as a distributor of iGENIUS and sharing, our products and representing our company and products, you cannot post your own personal account, even if you have disclaimers. That is not okay. And again, I want to make this really clear. That's the guidance that's been issued to us by the FTC. So that's a really important regulatory body that has provided that guidance that we are adhering to. And there are many companies in our space that are following those exact same guidelines. You guys have probably noticed that over the past few months, there's been a pretty big shift in the way that these companies are allowing their distributors to talk about performance, whether it's personal or non. So yeah, we're falling in line with with what's been the guidance. Yeah, a good point here. Talking about lifestyle. Showing cars and jewelry and clothes and kind of insinuating this lavish lifestyle. That's another thing that we have in our policies procedures, that it should be really clear there. Now look, that's getting into a little bit of a gray area. Like if you're showing a car and your post is completely unrelated to anything that has to do with iGENIUS, and you say that you like Ferraris and you post, that's one thing. If you're, implying that you drive a Ferrari when you don't, and you're implying that you got that Ferrari from the trading of iGENIUS, or using iGENIUS products, or using a third party's products from iGENIUS, now you're getting into an area that is absolutely not okay. And you're insinuating that you got those things from your performance, and that's the same thing as posting that you're making money that you're not. So yeah, that will not be.
Tammy/Lara keeps going on. What about the guy that dropped the N-word? And that Christian Crabtree guy said, this is being handled, and it's not something that represents who we are and what we stand for as a company. If you don't want someone representing your company who uses the N-word, then maybe, I don't know, kick him out of the company. Jessica Smith is someone else. It's another anti-mlmer, is another person that someone told me it was someone, I don't remember who it was, but is Draymond's going to get a free pass about the Holocaust? What about the guy using the N-word? This is not good PR for the brand. And again, this is being handled by compliance, blah, 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 blah. Dre's not going to get more than a slap on the wrist, I guarantee it. Yeah, you're wise beyond your years, son.
Tolerated. But again, we're not here to be the bad guy police, that we're going to take we're going to ask you to remove all the pictures of nice cars. If you like cars, you like cars. That's fine. It's when you take it that one step further and you're putting, iGENIUS has changed my life. Take a look, and you've got a picture of you in front of it. Yeah. But so some of the stuff you guys have got to be, using your best critical thinking and saying, okay, what if a regulator saw this? How would this look to them? If this even makes it seem like I'm saying that iGENIUS gave me this or caused me this, when even if it possibly did, but those performance are very much so non-typical, and it's something that probably isn't just directly related to you've got to err on the side of caution there and just don't do it. Or if you have a question, send that post into us first and we'll review it for you, and we'll provide feedback and say, hey, this is good or this isn't good.
Oh, here's another one. How are you handling the racism within your iGENIUS representatives? Will they be suspended or terminated? Yes, we're handling this on the compliance and the corporate side. Okay, we'll see. With people like the WFAB leaders in iGENIUS, dude, you're in for a world of trouble. These people have a long history of not complying with anything or doing the things that they're supposed to do. And I do want to point out here that they keep listing the compliance email, basically saying if you have screenshots or videos of people misbehaving, dropping the N-word, talking shit about the Holocaust, and this goes for all of us. You don't have to be an iGENIUS representative, distributor, customer, whatever, to send an email like this. If you have evidence of someone in iGENIUS doing shit that is unethical or just wrong on whatever level, the email is compliance@igeniusglobal.com. And I highly recommend that if any of you guys stumble upon anything that you see as unfit behavior, to send an email to them.
Can we show progress posts to show our journey? And I think what they're trying to point out is can I show where I was and where I'm at now? Look, that's an interesting question. So if you're not showing your bank account, if you're not showing your exchange accounts, if you're not showing direct numbers of the money you've made, if you're not trying to insinuate or imply that you used to be poor and now you're rich and it happened like if you do what we showed you in all those good example posts where you can explain the hard work and the sweat and the tears that's gone into learning, and you have it's taken time and you've been able to you're in a better position, and you say things like that, I'm in a better position, I'm excited about my performance, I'm happy with my results, then great, you can do it. But if you're talking about trying to show my journey and document the journey by showing screenshots of your bank account, or trying to show pictures of you when you were poor, and now now all of your stuff is Gucci because you're rich because you use iGENIUS, that's exactly what we're saying you cannot do. And if that's your way of marketing, then you'll have to stop, because that's not going to work anymore. So
here we have another question from Lara/Tammy. Apparently trips to Dubai they claimed were fully paid for. Is that true? And Christian said, this is not a true claim. They may have misrepresented by saying that we paid for it, but iGENIUS did not pay for it. However, they may have used their commissions earned, but it was not directly funded by iGENIUS for travel, even if they traveled to meet their iGENIUS team. I don't know the situation there either, but it sounds like there were people who were probably like, thanks to iGENIUS, I was able to go to Dubai and ride on this yacht, or whatever the fuck. I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way, yeah, that's obviously a thing that you shouldn't do either. Like, it's just shocking to me that people who have been in network marketing for years just behave this way, and they just get slaps on the wrist. They don't ever actually change their behavior. There needs to be a stricter punishment, honestly.
Okay. All right, Christian, I think we better sign off. So any other questions that you have, please submit any other questions you have to the compliance@igeniusglobal.com, and we will address all of those. Like we said, we're going to send out a newly recorded version of this with all this information to everybody, and we appreciate everybody's time, and everyone have an awesome night. Christian, anything from you? Any final words?
No, look, I would say the last thing that I want to make very, very in the forefront is that, this is us trying to protect what we have all built, as entrepreneurs, as people that want to have their own business. This is us helping you see the guidelines and the requirements to stay compliant, to keep what we are doing for years and years to come. Okay. We don't want any of this to be something that, someone who doesn't fully understand the industry, or for those that have misrepresented in the past, we want to make sure that this is something that continues for a long time. We want to do it the right way. We don't want to do it fast. We don't want to misrepresent. We don't want to show lifestyle. We don't want to show, there's so many different things, and people might think, hey, they're targeting me or targeting it. That's a good pressure to feel, because we want to make sure that this is all cleaned up so that we protect the livelihood of everything that we do.
And we also want to make sure that we never have to rebrand ever again, because it costs a lot of money and we don't like doing it, and also people are catching on. So
we do this is important for us. We thank you for joining us, and again, we'll get all this information out to you and make sure that we have this information in the back office for you, probably starting with the PowerPoint presentation moving into a recorded version once we all have good Wi-Fi connection. So appreciate you, sitting through some of those difficulties and asking these great questions, and everyone staying on for the duration of this call.
And that was the end. He's like, you have any final words? And the guy just like said shit, and Chad's just like, all right, we're done. Wow. Well, guys, sorry I'm a little close to the mic now, but Griffin is playing very loudly with toys behind me. So I would like to finish off this video by thanking my patrons and my members. But before I do that, let me just remind you that Scentbird sponsored this video, and they sent us these cute little vials. And if you want to get your hands on cute little vials like this, click my link down below. Use my code Savannah55 to get 55% off your first order with Scentbird, your first month. Honestly, these could be just like a fidget toy at this point. Like, I could seriously just do this all day, but I won't because this is very expensive and it smells like Vegas. Yeah, thrown right into the MGM Grand. That's what's up. Thank you, Scentbird, for sponsoring this video. Your product is wonderful, and I'm very happy with what I have had delivered to my home today. Thank you. And I can guarantee that anyone watching this and whoever uses my code, you're going to be happy with what you purchase as well. So with that being said, hey, it's time to thank my patrons and my members. The people I'm about to read off are my financial supporters. They get access to things like our private Discord server. They get access to videos early, not sponsored content usually, because I have to get things like approved by the sponsors, and then I usually go live as soon as they tell me I can. But if there's not a sponsor on the video, then I always let you guys have early access to it, at least a day early usually. We have a postcard club, all kinds of stuff like that. So if all of that sounds good to you, you can go to patreon.com/SavannahMarie, or you can click the join button beneath this video, get access to our YouTube memberships, which it's the same as Patreon, just whatever platform you want to use is fine. And with that, the biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to Janelle Pratt, Cecilia Dudek, Christy Taylor, Elizabeth Wyatt, Nitty Dragon, Leanne, Meredith Nakata, Molly Wasilewski, Ryan Mew, Sheila Tapia, Tiff C, Turd Ferguson, hashtag Get the W, Weatherington Law, Alice W, Amy Huffman, April Lindblom, Boris Geller, Casey Scraper, Katrina Rosemarit, Claire T, Danae Twitchell, Daniel Urena, E. Higgins, Eric Lauder Craddock, Jerry Duncan, Hanimal Crossing, Heidi Ha, Hippie Kansas Girl, Griffin in the background screaming, Julia Wheeler, Kim Cartwright, Critter, Lizzie McQueen, Maddie Darley, Marley Fletcher, Nah, Not Today, Princess Deathwish, Rachel McHenry, Samantha Jackson, Stephanie Hell, Tuesday the 13th, Emion, Ian Strouth, Jennifer Dyer, Jessica Cecil, Caroline H, Kazanese, Auntie Lou, Colin F, Jess Kronfeld, Krista Scantlin, Lizzie's Plantasy, and Fallon Lowry. And to the rest of my fabulous financial supporters, thank you so much for being here and being you. And even if you're not a financial supporter of mine, thank you for making it to the end of this video. Thank you for checking out the sponsor on this video today. Thank you for just everything you do. Keep making waves, babes. I'll smell you all later. Mommy Tsunami out.